Welcome to another stream. Hope everything's doing good. Today we're working on doing some soil, a soil material, because we want to do some terrain at some point. So we should get some terrain-like materials. We've got this brick one already. I want to try and do some other ones though. Okay. So, and also we want to try and define this. We want to get a collection of different materials to try and find the right shape of how we're gonna how these procedure materials are going to work with our meshes and stuff. So yeah, I'm hoping to do probably maybe four more materials, and then we'll go and do a mesh system to get some terrain down, and then we can get a landscape, and be cool. So let's go in like the 75 different places we have to add a material. It's a bit weird right now. I want to improve that in the future. That was an over exaggeration, obviously, but it feels like that. So let's look around for the moss. Right, so we need to add one of these things here. Yes, I'm hoping we can just automate some of this, or have one file that we define it in and it just gets everywhere else. But until that day, we're just going to live with this thing. Oh, but yeah. So I have a quick prayer, I forgot. Father in heaven, we thank you, Lord, for this day. We bless your holy name. Thank you, Lord, for being our great provider, providing us everything that we have. We thank you for that. Thank you for the warm showers. Thank you for the age that we live in. We live in the age of grace where we don't have to fulfill the 10 Commandments perfectly. We don't have to, we don't have to follow all this religion, but instead, no, we just have to believe in Jesus Christ and we have salvation. Thank you for that gift of grace on our lives. And I pray that you help us, Lord, become more like Jesus, walk in the ways of Jesus, and put you, Lord, first in our lives, not have any other idols or things above. Help us have you at the forefront of our mind. And we just bless your holy name. Thank you for this life. Thank you for the fact that our family's still here. And we've still got more time to do your will, and also more time for people to come and receive and get to know you, Christ. Thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Right. Let's go. So, we also need to make another file as well called a soil material file. So there's all these things. Yeah, I hope everyone's having a good day so far. Happy Friday to you all. Right, so we need to make a soil material files. I should probably have this in, oh, those are graphics. No, it's the wrong one. Shaders, graphic, there we go. So we'll call it geometry material for now, I don't really know. But yes, there's one file you have to make and then the rest get generated and made. So I wonder if we can, maybe we can pull it all into a single encode file and then that just has everything. I don't know. Let's see. Soil. So if we go to the build script as well, because you have to add the new file to the build script, it's such a thing at the moment. So yeah, I think what would help this is my build system just could search in every subdirectory for an ENC file. That's a solution to this problem at least. But yeah, we'll just live with it for now. All right. Then soil, we'll do a placeholder slot. I don't know what else we need to do. Well, there will be like colors and stuff, but we'll do it all from shader side first. So then we make a new one of these. Yeah. Nice. Now we just need to simply upload. Cool. And then we simply just have to... Yeah, so I think we'll just change this out to be a soil material like so. Right, so that should be most of the places. Just the shaders now, I think. Just have a look. Yeah. Yeah, just 2 places in the shader code. Oh, what's that? Soil. Right, so let's go to the graphics material code now. Let's find where the moss is. So Raymarch soil. I don't think we're going to need to Raymarch soil. I think it might just be a noise. It might just be a 3D noise texture that we do procedurally. So we'll probably just need the shade side of things, which is cool. All right. Okay, that's all the setup. So we'll call it a geometry material for now. I don't think it'll be one of those geometry materials, but we'll see. So we'll call it soil. So moss, soil, distance soil. I don't think we'll need this because it might not be a signed distance field. Right, so lowercase moss for soil. I think we only changed that one, but there we go. Cool. Right, so let's start. So the UV is ray origin, zero space. Again, I'm not sure. Yeah, we're just trying some things out. We're just trying to get some different materials and we can work out exactly how things will be. So in terms of ray marching this soil, like, I don't think there's going to be ray marching. So your base, it'd be like the grass blade. So it'd be something like, yeah, so this one added a curviness to the normal. So this we changed the normal, but basically it's going to be quite simple. So the normal would just be vec3, just pointing outwards, I think, in material space. No, we want to change the normal around here, actually. This ain't good. Yeah. Well, we could always do it here and then pass it through to the shade phase with this hit attributes thing. So, yeah, maybe we'll just do that. I think. Right, so let's see if we can get some ideas on how to do such a thing. I think we can use simplex noise. And then let's see what AI will say about it first. So I think we want to say we want to generate a 3D procedural procedural noise. Nah, procedural soil texture. I think that's what we want. That looks like it's with Veroni, isn't it? Some of that. So try playing a map in or basic Perlin based dirt shader. Yeah. So multiple layers of simplex, different scales, clumpiness, cellular noise to simulate appearance of soil clumps or small rocks. Cool. Use high frequency noise for fine grain. Yeah. To do like an FBM, basically fractal Brownian motion of it. And since we're not ray marching it and it'll just be a volume, it shouldn't be too bad because the thing that made the ray marching one so bad when you use a simplex noise is it was doing it for every step and you would have like 64 of those. Whereas now, or more rate, depends. So that would make stuff slow. Whereas I think you might get away with a simplex noise per pixel maybe, or a few of them. Moisture, roughness. Right, so let's see if we can program something. And so we've got a simplex noise already, right? It's in GPU. Yeah, so I got this one from this website, or this place here. This guy's a Macron optimized one. But I don't know what its min and max values are. I wonder, like, when I tried out, it felt like it was like minus pi times 2 and positive pi times 2. But then, like, it felt, I didn't know why that was. So let's see if, AI could help me find it. I could obviously write a test just to, manually go through a range of it and step through it and find the min max. The simplex noise 3D. What is the min and max value of simplex? Let's see if it can help. I've never done this before. Let's see if it's good enough for that. I will kind of know if it's kind of right. It's searching everything. Designed to return values between -1 and 1. Well, that's kind of wrong. So it didn't actually try and do anything with this code. It just tried to search the web. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, so it's breaking down with the dots saying basically if you do these things. But for some reason, that though, right, 107. Yes, I think we'll have to try and find that out for ourselves, really. What is the minimax value of this thing? Because I guess we'll stick with pi times 2 at the moment, but I don't know why. Mm. Well, let's see. But then it's probably going to give me like a terrible one that won't work. Maybe we could give it a go. Hmm. It'd be funny if it just sends me back the same one. Returns one between -1 and 1. That's what we kind of want. So let's see if we can compare it with R1. It's got this sort of stuff here, right? This thing, 170, whatever. What is that? That's done down here. So there's a bunch of dots. The dots take in this norm thing, do they? P0, P0, okay, so... Normalize. Or inverse square root. Right. Yeah, the problem is when I try this one, its values are never between -1. -1 and 1. We can try for now to comment this one out. And try this other one here. Try this one out. So performance, texture implementation. Is that the place where I got this one though? No, it wasn't. Different one. Right, let's put that there just in case. Later. Okay, so we want to call it simplex noise, this thing. Cool. Okay, so we've got the FBM. So I think... I just can't remember how to use this. Let's try here, shall we? So FBM. I could manually do it in line, but this could also work. So, oh, so just return a float, won't it? Yeah, cool. Right, so amplitude. Let's try and figure out what that is again. I completely forgot. So amplitude is how much it changes from each. Yes, you have an initial amplitude, and the gain it changes the amplitude every frame, every iteration. Right. So you might want to make it grow. Right. And then, so let's say 1 point. So increase in frequency. Lacunarity is how much we're moving the point. So, I don't know, let's move it by 1, I guess. I don't know, let's just play around with it. Gain, let's make it gain a bit more. And then let's just do 3 octaves. So, if we try that, we need a position. So we'll call that ray origin. That's, that's just the UV basically. Right, so that gets you some noise. Then with that value, we could just color it, I guess. So shading UV just stays in the same place. So do we color it here or? So I reckon. Yeah, not sure. I wonder how we'll get normal. Like you could sample noise in a few different places and get like a difference, I think. Let's see if it's got any other ideas. So um let's see if it will give us some ideas at least. So yeah, just some noise functions, some FBM. Then so say able to take and produce these sort of sand grains and stuff if you want. The two colors which was had it before down here, right? So with the noise just lerping between there, then take away apparently some grain you want. Then moisture. What about a normal? Yeah, so it's already kind of thinking that simulate moisture. But yeah, this is some interesting stuff, right, to play around with. So yeah, it's saying treat it like a height value basically. Reuse your FBM here. Right. So yeah, I think you'd call it. So it's treating it as kind of like a height though, like a flat plane, and that's uh maybe so you can call it like soil distance or something like that, or sorry, height, something like that. I'm not sure if that's going to be the right thing, but let's just give it a go. So passing the shading structure, passing the UV. You might want to pass in the material as well at some point, but let's just start there. Okay. So we get some form of height. Lovely. So shading, then UV. Now it's kind of like the normal. You'd have another one where it's about getting the normal in the geometry, light soil, we'll call it normal. In out, shading. Yeah, we're passing the UV. So what it's talking about is have some small offset and calculate the gradient this way. So it's not quite. I'll also be in material space though, and then we'll move it into world space. The small offset for sampling, yeah. Let's read the code, no need for comments. So, you can tell if someone's used AI code because they got comments, right? Comments is, yeah. Comments are okay. I much prefer documentation than comments. So P plus just a little offset, resample, get some, yeah, gradient. Now combine the surface with the noise gradient. We subtract the gradient and push away from the slope. Right, so if you're coming at yeah, this is basically very much like TBN, tangent space style. I wonder if that's actually going to look good though. So you have your, like a cube really. You might not even have a cube. But yeah, I guess what you'd do is you'd have the normal passed in that is from the mesh that you're on. Yeah, you would, when you right. Okay, yes, I think we can do that. So we'd have the yeah. So the question is though, it'll have to be a material space. I have to bring that into material space. So combine the surface normal with the, well, I'm not sure why they say world normal. Let's give it a go anyway. So yeah, material spaces, we'll move it back out. So I wonder if you can ask for what that normal would be. It's in the shading structure. So we can do, so for the mesh, we can say get a normal of the thing. So that gets into material space. But then you need to bring it into, yeah, really you're just providing a matrix. It's not really a normal, a tangent, and bitangent type of deal, I think. Yes, I think I want to just change some of this. A bit wrong. Let's just go to, what we're kind of looking for is like, hey, what is, we'll still have a normal with the surface, like, the, on the triangle, we'll get that. But then what is the, we're looking for a matrix at this point. To go from, we're looking for kind of both matrices really, but you'll pass in, hey, how do I get from How do I get into material space from the world, basically? But this knows how to get back the other way as well, doesn't it? It's a bit... Right, so let's quickly go back into the material one. Is that world from material, isn't it? Yeah, so that will comprise that. Okay. So we want the world from material to be passed in. Or maybe all we want is the surface. Yeah. Right, two inputs. We'll rename it. So it'd be called surface material x vector. Or where's the x-axis in relation to the... Where is it in the world, basically? In world space, where is it? And then material y vector, where is that? Then from those two things, we can comprise a rotation matrix and a scale matrix, I think. Yep. So it's a bit like the tangent and bitangent, as you typically would have in standard texture mapping. So, right, so our normal here is actually going to be, let's get that, vector 3 normal local space. So that'll be, hang on. So we just do a reverse box at the moment, or an ellipsoid. We just drew a box. We haven't really got a mesh system in properly, so we're just living with this at the moment. It's doing its job well. So r.x is where t is stored, then the normal local space is in yzw. So same with the ellipsoid here, which is just a sphere. Pretty sure. No. Need the other one. Oh, we could do that. So it would be normal is ray origin local space plus ray direction local space times t. So that's the hit position. Then the dimensions are that, okay? Right. So we then need to transform that into world space. So that would be using the adjugate matrix. One of these guys you want to use. So mol v, so just the rotation and scale. Matrix 3D. Rotate that into world space for me, please. Thank you. Now, that can go here. So now I got the normal passed in. Lovely. Tangent. We called that material surface, material x. It's the x-axis vector, basically, in world space. What's happened here? Yes, we can use those. So for now, we're just doing it like we're just hard coding it to be the x-axis and the y. So what this is basically saying is, say if you had a box. That's a little bit off, whoops. But yeah, you get the idea, we've got a box. What we're saying is, even if you hit this face here, we're saying, yeah, the x-axis is still that way and the y-axis is this way. So we're treating it as kind of like a 3D volume. So the Z will be that way or something, or maybe the other way, but so this will just be a 3D volume. But we could do is we could remap it, or we could say, hey, the X in the material is actually going this way, and the Y is going that way, and the Z will be going this way. So we'll end up rotating we'll end up be rotating this sample position, I think. And so with that sort of stuff, you can do, where are you? And this is just my drawings, are just constantly to the right. This guy, you'll be able to like, essentially the x-axis will be able to follow the wall which bends. So that'll just be increasing your material space that way. And you could do like a brick wall basically, where the depth goes that way and up that way, right? So yeah, it's cool. It's cool. So that's the reason why we've got these guys. There's just treated like a volume at this point. Now, when it comes to this grass that we just changed, I think the grass just yeah, I think that's right. Cool. I'm glad we got those names are a bit better now. So I'm thinking what we actually want is right in that geometry one. We might want to pass in a normal, where's these? Yeah, we've got quite a lot of parameters now. This is not really kind of nice. We should probably reduce some of this stuff. Hmm. Too many parameters. We can just add another one for now. You know, we'll stick it in this shading structure because then I have to change all the prototypes and stuff. It's just annoying. So there'll be a section here where we don't have to pass it around basically. So we'll just store in here. Well, you already passed the normal one already. So it's here already actually. Ooh. So it's in world space. Right, but we've got to have another matrix. Hmm. Right, so Raymarch will comprise this guy. Yeah, so I think all of these should actually be just thrown into that shading structure at the bottom. All of the data, let's go. We want those, that's what we want. Nice. Now, we'll let the compiler figure that one out, I think. That'll optimize it. So, these will get made when you do calculate surface color. They'll just be in shading. I guess you can call this in out. So 1, 2, 3, there we go. So that's all looking nice. They're just made from those material x-axis vectors and the material y. Cool. I'm happy with that. So Raymarch then. Ray direction gets changed. Where's the at the end? It does it the other way around, doesn't it? It's past the normal. There we go. Cool. So we want to be able to get this normal material space to be passed out from these ray march passes, which is not really doing ray marching into the soil, but there we go. Things to iron out. We're just trying to get some materials. Playing about with some different ideas. So it comes in to the pass, so that would be something like this we would like. Ah, here we go, finally. So we've got the normal immaterial space. That's going to be a material from world, surface, normal, world space. Ta-da! Now, you want to take this and throw it into here. Cool. So we don't really care about... Yeah, we'll pass in the height through here. Now this will be a repeated run of this. So actually what we want in this guy is to pass in the standard height value. For an unmodified one, right? So, right, we're nearly there to get this thing up and running. Super, super close. All right, so the final thing is just some colors. You know, we could just leave it green and brown for now, just to see how it looks. And then we can always just tweak the colors in just a minute. So we shall just take in this attributes.x, which we passed out here, and we're just going to call it height. And I guess, so the I was just suggesting, like, what was it suggesting to just use it as a, so it's an FBM, right? So we know that simplex noise is just a, hang on. We know that simplex noise is just a -1 to 1. That's what we know. But then we do an FBM of it. It's a, there's some amplitude. Yeah. So we kind of want to know what is that maximum amplitude, if you will. Do we return that as well? And that will give you a maximum sort of like range it could be, right? So like if you knew what the maximum height would be, yeah, so I think here you'd really want to pass out like some kind of, yeah, so I think we'll make it a separate function. We'll call it FBM amplitude. See, it's copied it. That's good. Amplitude. Yeah. So we'll just call it amplitude max. I guess we'll call it. So that would just be, you know, what we're doing is summing that, right? And that should just be automated basically. So we should know what, hey, what is that maximum value you've multiplied all of the noises with? And then that would be the maximum possible value you could ever get. Yeah, so that would then mean we want to get here amplitude. Right, so the problem with FBM is it's not here anymore. These will probably be configurable in some way, so we'll probably have to have it passed in anyway. So let's plop that here and just pass in absolutely everywhere. Right, I finally typed that properly, that's good. So FBM, so that'll be fine. FBM. Cool, happy with that, that's good. So that gets us amplitude max. So then we want this final sort of like value, this color value, whatever we're going to call it, a shade, if you will. It's not really a shade, but yeah, I guess so. Oh, what do you call it? Anyways, doesn't really matter. So height divided by amplitude max. So the value is going to be between minus amplitude max and positive amplitude max. So we should probably call it amplitude, or we can call it bound. That might be a better name. So you can call it bound. So essentially, if you divide by bound, that puts you in -1 to 1 range. Right, -1 to 1 is then just times 0.5 plus 0.5. Well, there's probably a better way of doing that. You know, you get half of bound and then... But anyway, that should do it, right? So that will get you a 0 to 1 value. Then shade just gets thrown into here. And then we can just keep these two values for now. So let's call it shade. Now finally this lerp is going to work properly. Now it's going to be more green than brown, but oh well, let's give it a go. AO, that's another fun one, right? I don't know. We'll leave it for 1 for now. Right, so after all that, we should be able to get something going. Oh, there's a vector-free version right there. I just messed it up. Right, 806. Capital S shading, whoops. P, WV. Yeah. Oh, we need to include those files. That's the other thing about it. It's just more files to include. It's horrible. So that'll be in graphics VK shared. No. No, right at the top of materials, yeah. So that'll be soil And then graphics.c, we need, so it's just the code generated stuff to like decode and encode the data structure. Yeah, we need to improve that workflow of importing this stuff, but there we go. Right, this is all complaining now. Oh, nothing called T. What is a T? 0. We've not moved. Material space, I think we'll call it. Yeah, good. Yep. 8. Right, 917. That's doing some stuff with that tangent thing. Interesting. That was the MOS. So it was trying to recompute those here for some reason. We don't need to do that. We've got them in the shading structure now. It's been a massive savings. Well, we weren't using them anyway. Okay, cool. Right, so 1221, lowercase please. Uh, 152. Interesting. What are you complaining about? Oh, scene shade. Instance world from local. Yeah, we don't have one of those. What do we do with that in the end? Oh, the rotates. Right, so take these new names. So soil generate.c, yeah, so that we just need to change that to geometry. Oh yeah, progress. Right. This looks kind of weird, but there we go. Well, those classical spheres, repeating spheres, if you get it right. There you go. You see this one a lot. This artifact was repeating spheres. Very common. We need GPU programming. This is like, if you've done like lots of shader programming, you typically see this guy. It's repeating spheres everywhere. Cool. Right, this doesn't look very dirt-like. That's because we're using green, but also the pattern doesn't look that good. So, yeah, there seems to be some like zeros there, or minus numbers, or even an ands. Some hand cream on, my hands are super dry. Oh. Okay, so I wonder if we can just have a bit of a play. So we go back to the material. We're going to find soil and bring it home. Right, so we simply just change shade to be something like, hey, make it 0.5. How does it look? Oh, Okay, reload not want to work. What does it? Hey, it does recompile. Good. So that's interesting. If we make it 1, does it show up as brown? Ah. Interesting. So this clearly is the normal. Can you see this normal is the thing which is causing us problemos? So we did. Yep. So yeah, that's getting the. Yeah, there's some problems. Maybe it's the. Right, so shade is not really having that much of an impact on the issues. So it might not be related to the noise stuff. But we'll get to this one in a bit. So let's start. Is there any like is mouse at things? These guys. I love these guys. Right, so if our mouse is at here, I would love to see a no of, you know, did we put the right, did put the wrong reason, I think. Right, let's just see what this is. Right, minus 64. Doesn't seem like a normal to me, does it? So that's a very big problem. So the ellipsoid, when we do this, not being very nice, being very mean. This is not even compiling properly. Sorry, it's not the ellipsoid one, is it? This is the box. What's the box doing? Just doing a step. You know, a step just gets you -1 or sorry, 0 or 1, isn't it? I think. So YZW, that's right. Oh, then there's a scale going on here, isn't there? Probably well from local. So it needs to normalize. Right. 2 seconds. BRB. Right. I'm gonna have to be right back. My son's got some drums and he wants them to be set up. I'll be back in like 5 minutes. BRB. In the meantime, leave a message. Yeah, so my wife went out and bought him a drum set and he's like super happy. He's already got like some drums, but he really loves his drums. And so she's bought him one more of like a proper set. I was gonna set that up for him. And he's been he's super excited for it. So I'll be right back. Let me just do this. And we'll carry on with the finding these issues and trying to make it look more like Saw. Because right now it looks like kind of glass, plastic. I don't know. Incredibly raw. We'll be back. BRB. Right, welcome back, everyone. Apologies there, had to pop out. My son really loves his drums, and my wife came back with a little toy drum set that he was absolutely couldn't wait to get put up. So, you know, it was fun. It's great to see his little face being like, but yeah, the drums are all set up now and is making lots of noise downstairs. But yeah, children are awesome. So great. Yeah, if you haven't got children already, recommend getting married, having children. They're amazing. Best thing. Uh, yeah. And for those who don't know, by the way, I got a son coming on my way. Due September, so I got a second one coming. So good. Praise the Lord for that. But yeah, where are we going now? We're trying to do soil, and right now it's not really looking soil-like. Kind of looks a little bit like shattered grass, if you will. So like not really shattered glass, but shattered grass. It looks a bit weird. So there's lots of problems, right? Obviously we are blending a bit of green in there. Intentionally, I've just copied it from a grass shader. So we should really have two types of browns, maybe a bit of a lighter brown and a darker brown. You know, so if we were to bring this up uniformly, maybe we would just times it by, right? So we just have brown 0 and brown 1. Okay, so hey, wrong way around. Brown 1, brown 0. So 0 is obviously dark. Okay, ta-da. So let's start there. Why doesn't it like that? That's the question. Something didn't work properly, I think. Hey, hello, Olex, Dev, welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. Heroes Dev, Heroes in the Morning Studios. Yeah, he rose in the morning. Yeah, he did. You know when he rose? He rose, there's theories, right? So Jesus died on Passover, crucified on Passover. He is, right, he's the rock, right? We stand on the rock of Christ. But the Jewish people would build rock altars. They would sacrifice an animal on the rock altar for their sins, and the blood will go down the rock. Jesus is the rock crucified, right? The blood is dripping down his body, the rock, and that's the forgiveness of our sins. Killed on Passover, fulfills the feast of Passover, buried in the tomb of unleavened bread. Right, Passover, the reason why it's Passover is because he is the Passover lamb, right? And with that blood, our sins are passed over. With the forgiveness of sins, the angel of death passes us over. He's buried in the tomb, the unleavened bread, the bread without sin, Jesus Christ, the bread from heaven, right? As the Israelites got the bread from heaven, the manna from heaven in Exodus, it was leavened bread, bread without sin. Sorry, unleavened bread, bread without sin. Jesus Christ is the unleavened bread, is the body without sin, right? He never sinned, hence why he fulfilled the law. The only person who could ever fulfill the law, God, manifest in the flesh, unleavened bread, buried in the tomb. The body is now in the ground, resurrected. This is where I'm getting to. Rose again on the third day. Feast of first fruits. This is the feast where they'll take the first fruit offering, give it to the Lord. Now, he rose in the morning. He rose in the morning, as it says in the scriptures. I think it's, I forget where that is now, but obviously in the four gospels. And in Book of John, he goes to Mary, don't come near to me, I've not ascended to the Father just yet. Or I've not ascended to the Father. But then he goes near the disciples later on. So what's he doing? Well, he must have, people piece this together, as he woke up from the grave, it would have been, as he resurrected, it would have been probably as they were going out to cut the first fruit offerings to the Lord. and that he must have seen Mary in the morning and said, I have not ascended to the Father yet, taken up those other saints which rose with him, which you find in book of Matthew. There's like a small line where it says these saints rose from the grave when Jesus Christ resurrected. So he must have taken those up with him as first fruit offerings to the Lord, and taken his blood into the tabernacle in heaven, which Paul writes about in Hebrews 9. It's an interesting read, like possibly that's all true, but it seems like it is, because his blood must have been taken into the holies of holies in the heavenly tabernacle by the high priest himself, which is Jesus, with his own blood, as written about in Hebrews 9. So it's cool. Yeah, Jesus rose in the morning, and it's beautiful. But yeah, it's cool. And you know why he rose? He rose to show us that he had conquered death, and that by believing in him, we will conquer death also. And as a promise, that we will also be raised up and given the same, maybe not the exact same, but I think it is. I think the Bible does say the same glorified body he has. We obviously won't be omnipresent like Jesus can be, because Jesus is God. Maybe we'll have some I don't know, but we're definitely going to have a body that will not die, will not be capable of sin anymore, and it's going to be amazing. And it's coming soon. Very, very soon. But yeah, exciting times. But Daniel 9 to be fulfilled. Daniel 9. Love me some Daniel 9. Reconciliation for iniquity. That'd be good. Those would be good times. All those bad things that people have done, sort out. In full. Cool. Yeah, we're seeing lots of this kind of noise everywhere. That's obviously not the simplex noise because we tried that out. So is it to do with the normal? Right, it feels like that's the only other variable that changes. So if we pass in a vec3 of 0, 0, 1, does that like do anything? No. Is there something else going on? If we change the octaves, that basically does nothing also. In terms of that noise, the noise stays exactly the same. More problems. So if we just output a raw color of black. Wait, how if we output a raw color of black, does it not all just go black? Where's that all coming from? How weird. You know what? We're probably not doing the soil shader anymore. No, we are. Oh, yeah. So, is this thing... Nope. What else? Is it doing all this stuff here? This detail material thing? It could be this T value. No. Are we like returning early and doing something silly? What's going on? Are we doing... It's still in bounds, right? Well, I think this is where it might be ending early here. Aha. So that's because... Yeah, okay. Right, let's return... That's... Yeah, so we're in this sort of rain marching past, but it's not really rain marching, so we got some... Anyways, cool. Now... Cool, so now we can, like, investigate what's going on here. So... Amplitude, so we bring that up a bit. No. Do we want to bring it down? How do we change the scale of this thing? I thought that's what amplitude was about. Or is it gain? No, gain. Ah, lacanarity, that's the one. Do you want to make that like more, please? So that will increase the frequencies as we go. Beautiful. So why are we getting like kind of black? Is that so yeah, so let's play around until we get some nice browns or something. So I guess if we did times by 1, we would just get... So you telling me that shade... They're like the same value though. So what is shade then? Alright, printing out shade. We should call it shadiness, because it's very shady. Ooh. I saw a negative value somewhere. Right, here's some minus values. That's not very nice. Still though, it's manageable. We should probably clamp it. Yeah, I thought this would have done it. Found, you know? So as that simplex noise is not minus 1 or 1. Let's see what we can do. Run out loud. It does go less than minus. Yes, these simplex noises are not minus 1 to 1 range. It's a lie. See, I wonder if we should... This one's not a bad implementation, actually. So we can live with that. I think, though... Yeah, it's not minus 1 to 1, which kind of sucks. Let's see if it... because, you know, we got it from this link here. We've also had another one where we got from someone else's GitHub. This is not -1 to 1. You are correct. Aim for -1. They aim for it. Some versions can overshoot these bounds. The variance in range typically stems from the scaling multiply at the end. Yeah, the 42 one. So people, you've set up to as high as 107. Yeah, we saw the in the previous implementation there was one of 107. So try to fit right. Mathematical educators are gradients align perfectly to the center of the simplex. Can peek beyond. Yeah, just clamp it for safety. just further divide it by the 1.8 that you find, and that'll do it. Yeah, just do it. Thank you, bro. You're a big help. But yeah, so I guess that's just inherent to. Was right. So I think we can just find. So we could do that clamper thing right at worst case, but that will kind of suck. Oh, it went all the way up to 2 up here. 2.5, and then it kind of didn't become a smooth gradient there. That's not very, it's kind of worrying that actually. Let's get rid of this implementation, it's terrible. We'll go back to our other one. So this one I actually got from a GitHub rather than AI. But I was just seeing if there was one which would be -1 to 1, but it lied. The computer lied, as you would expect. Right, so this is doing like a 4D one. That looks much better, doesn't it? Looks nice. And smooth. It's obviously not resembling dirt though, but we can get there. Cool. So we could, you know, debug draw some normals as well if we wanted to. That is a thing we have the possibility to do. Yeah, these go all the way up to about 1 point. No, I saw a 2. I even see as high as 6 sometimes, I think. Yeah, there's a 4 there. So I think what we'll do is we'll divide it by pi times 2, I think I saw it at. But it probably wasn't even pi times 2, it's just some number. Maybe even 7 is reasonable. Divide by 7. So that'd be -1 to 1. Now, so now we've gone out of range, but we can also then like clamp it from there if we wanted to. Which will kind of suck, but there we go. Sorry, -1 to 1. So if we do -2 to +2, do we see change? No, we don't. Okay, so I believe with 7 is fine. Like we did. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So Let's live with that one for now. So when it comes to simplex, what are we trying to achieve? So we've got this sort of coloring thing. The bright ones are a little bit bright, don't you think? So why is there like some colors which are like gold and other ones which are kind of like brown? Like if we just make it black. I feel like there's some kind of like detail material going on, but also I don't know if there is. Under the sea. So what's going on? No. Okay, so I'm not really sure. But we're definitely running this, right? So could I then say... Yeah, so... if we did material.color... Sorry, material... Dot, would it be... It's a non-metal, so it'd be diffuse. So we did like, hey, that's black. What does it do? Right, it still doesn't put everything... Ah, because it's probably the normal, isn't it? Cool. So we could debug draw the normal. It could be a fun one if the mouse is over the point. Debug draw the normal there. It could be a thing. But yeah, I think it's the normal. So it's interesting. If we go to here and go to the end, we find we have normal in world space. So in the shading structure, I think we surface position world space. Perfect, yeah? So we have to do is do if is mouse at shading.debug screen coordinate. This would be super awesome. So I'd like to draw a vector. So draw 3D vector from the shading surface position. The direction it goes in is obviously the direction of the normal. And we can pick some kind of length of like 0.1 is probably fine. Then I'd forget the rest of the parameters, but that's completely okay. So there's a thickness. Yes, there's a thickness of 0.1, I guess, or maybe even smaller than that. Then a color of red will do. So it'd be an RGBA 8 red. Then a Z test of false. So now we can hover over and see that, but it's not liking it. 166. Right, what are you complaining about exactly? Tell me why. Vec3, thickness, color, Z test. Vec3, thickness, color. Ah, I see. Cool, so we've got the normal here now. So yeah, I think it's just lightened up by the sun in different ways. So it's kind of, yeah, it's quite... So we make that... Cool. Woo! Yeah, so you see the normals kind of really influence it. It's kind of forcing it to go up and down, so it's not really a good normal. Let's make it a little bit thicker as well. Yeah, so that points up. Yeah, let's make it a bit higher then. But there's some of them go the way it pointed down. It's not very nice. Well, maybe it's fine. It just really depends on the... Oh no, pointing down is a bad idea. But yeah, we've got to like play around with this. That's for sure. Let's go back to the soil. So noise could work. Let's just keep going. So if we kept it at... Then it's just flat like this, yeah? Now. So it's trying to do the normal this way. So I wonder... Right, so we took away the normal. I don't know what we'll do, but... Let's see if we did a... Spec 3... Okay, cool. So we're looking at it now. We are getting like 2 different shades or whatever, but let's up it by 4. Hey, Dawn. Right. Interesting. I don't know, maybe I'm being shadow banned. I don't know. But yeah, good to see you, Dawn. How's life going? How's the family? So yeah, in the sun, this looks like super bright. It's difficult to know. Is my sun just too bright? Is there like a sun strength somewhere? That's a good point. Is that in like graphic shed or shader? Yeah, the radiance. Maybe it's a bit too intense. You know, we should get a sphere. This is kind of not very helpful, is it? So we did a scene shade. To switch this off, I spent like 2 minutes last night adding the sphere in. Sphere pass. So that'll be... Need to fetch this guy from here. Right, here we go. So we got ourselves the sphere. Have I got any like ambient light? Oh yeah, I have, haven't I? But that's... Yeah, I have obviously got it because it's not complete black. Cool, I think that's a reasonable angle. Right, so obviously there's your like normal. Life. We hosted an event for at our company. Had invite some guy, some people new for sea level advice. Net worth is around 300 mil. Went out with dinner with him. He was an egotistical, right? Arrogant, yeah. Yeah, I think you kind of get that with people in the sea world, isn't it? It's like, it's pride, isn't it? Yes. Wanted me to take a shower. He started giving me some hand waving gestures on what we should be doing for our in our flawed company. I started drilling down more on him, and he couldn't produce anything of substance. Great. Yeah, just keep it super vague. Basically, he was just a hack who got lucky. Yep. Went toe to toe, calling him out at dinner with 15 of us. Not the Sea World, but people who sold. Right. Nearly $1 billion worth company, right. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's a pride thing, isn't it? It's like people do. Yep. So how much did he get paid to come? Surely he's in it for the money, right? Right here, so let's find the let's find me some soil. Right, so is the to collect a group of companies. Well, as in buy them or something. Is that what I mean by collect? Like, so we can own it. Play a Monopoly. A Monopoly man. Some more investors, yeah, and some other board members reaching out to this guy. Cool. Who they knew, yeah. Lovely. Yeah. Life is hard done, isn't it? Know what you mean. Yep. But yeah, I guess these things we just gotta not get too worked up at sometimes. But it's difficult though, isn't it? Because you know, you're like paid to care about things, and then like when you care about things, there's like, um, people come in, and you want to stop people like coming in and ruining stuff, but then sometimes it doesn't always work out when you try and prevent it.
Aria, listen to me. All languages, it's a mess.
Hey there,
Programming in C is better than
Gio
anything they got
Lefe.
going.
Welcome, sir. How are you doing? We're currently working on some soil. I could go outside and touch my own soil, but I don't want to make my own with code. But yeah, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Hope you had a good stream, guys. Feel free to ask any questions. We're procedurally making dirt with some dirty code. We've got a custom engine in C, Vulkan, using GLSL, and yeah. Hello, hello. Yeah, soil science. So if you use soil, does it mean you soiled yourself? Maybe. What does this soil thing mean again? Is that sort of programming language thing? There's the soil principle, isn't it? Is that, am I thinking that right? Olga, thanks. I'm at the airport. Right. Fair play. Doing some live programming before, or whatever it was. Live stream before piano playing. Good. Right. Have a safe trip, sir. And yeah. And I'll see you soon. Thank you for the raid. Appreciate it. Yeah, I thought it was alright, it's OpenGL library, right? It did sound familiar. Alright, so I wonder if we can change. Makes it more red, doesn't it? Yeah, I feel like we just gotta make it darker and then lighter. Like, if I just did brown, what does that look like? Okay, then we just get some in between thing. Cool. But I feel like it doesn't really get dark. Okay, so I feel like we need more linearity. Cool. So what 2 octaves, 1 octaves just does that. 2, 3. Alright, this is nice. There we go, we're getting places now. So, put some gains. Nah, I don't know. Now it just looks like Mars. No, 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 no. If you need more detail, you just up the number of octaves and you got even more detail on Mars. Right, let's get in there. Yeah. So I wonder, right, you could probably make this look like wood in some way. If you like, just, I don't know, scaled the Y. Just have some fun. Scale it by like 8. Just like stretch the guy out. It didn't seem to like that. Oh, I see. Now it just makes it looks even more like Mars. And then just rotate it. Or maybe not rotate, but I'm trying to make soil, I want to just make Mars. Yeah, I wonder if you could get, like, stretch it and just make, but it's saying stretch it around here for some reason. I know, like, here's 0, right? What happens if we bring back the scene shade at the... Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Right, here we go. See, it does sort of look like wood, doesn't it? They gotta ship it, make wood. But we came here to make soil, I know. But yeah, looks like wood, like, only on something flat, though. Yeah, if you painted the normals right, like, did the tangent by tangent stuff right, you could basically use that as wood. Good to know. The top won't look like wood. Get some rings there if you wanted. But yeah, it's cool. Right, back to where we were. Make some soil. So we are getting some darker spots now, which is kind of cool. I think the problem is we want some big. We want to start off where the the amplitude is kind of like how much am I keeping? The gain is like how much do you want to keep over the octaves, right? So if you're and the lacunarity is like how much are you scaling the position? So essentially it starts off at lower. If your lacunarity is like greater than 1, you're starting off at lower, and every time you go up an octave it's going higher and higher frequency. So that means the higher frequency stuff is going to be kept more because the amplitude is increasing as well. So if you start one of them high and bring them low type of thing, then that would then mean it you would keep the lower frequency, so the stuff which covers a bigger area more, and that higher frequency stuff won't be kept as much, basically. So yeah. Uh so what way do we want to do it? Do we want to say, so if we change the gain where it doesn't actually get much gain, and lacunarity have I busted my hotcode reload thing doesn't always work. No. Yeah, it doesn't really look as nice now. It's looking a bit blurry. So I guess you just add more octaves at that point, but this is part of the issue. So you want to make it such that your every time you step, hmm. So we could say, yeah, so we made the gain 0.25, so like, so you'll keep the higher one more. Let's do 8. So we could also just manually, rather than FBM in it, we could just manually do this, right? That's the basic idea. We could manually inline it and that could just be easier. This is just filling with some values. It will probably be better with some sliders as well, rather than just changing it. Yeah, it's still looking alright. So well, it's sort of looking like sandy color, so let's start tweaking the colors a bit. So red, green, Let's manually pick the two colors. The dark brown, let's find it. Just looking sort of green here. Could probably go darker. Not bad. So it's kind of grey on the red. Yeah, so it's like the blue and the green are sort of the same. Cool, it's still a bit bright though, maybe. But yeah, we bring that down. Right, I like that. So if we say then, let's go to brown 1. It's clearly a bit bright. It's looking like clay. Is it clay? Like yeah, it's not really a good color. So we'll probably we might keep with the same pattern as the other one. Hang on. Let's see what that looks like. No, not good. Cool, so then I just basically throw color back in there. Now, I think... Oh, whoops. Wrong place. Yeah, I think we need to be darker. It already looks kind of dark though, but... Yeah, so maybe we do... Just chuck another 0. Right, now it's kind of looking a bit... Will there be a sandy loam? What is a sandy loam? Or... Hey, last night I tried to work a little bit with a 4-point cubit bezier grass. Nice, amazing. Very cool, let's take a look at that. Welcome back. Ramil, welcome back, Ultra Scientism. Oh, like a soil. Is a St. Loam's versatile, nutrient-rich topsoil. Roughly 60 to 70% sand. Really? Wow, I didn't realize it's 60 to 70% sand. 20 to 30% silt and 10 to 15% clay. Fair play. Soil mate. That looks like top-notch soil. Yeah, it's a good name. Sandy loam. Or loam. Great name. Yeah, we're just trying to get some like dirt, basically. It's the idea. Some dirty code for some dirt. Right, see this oh, amazing. That's cool. Glad you got some inspiration. Beautiful. Did you do it with SDFs or something like that? Ray tracing the SDF. The aliasing is like super bad. This is a full screen and not destroying my computer at the same time. But yeah. They need to be a bit thicker by looks, but they do this weird thing where they disappear. But it's cool. Well done. But you did it with a cubic Bezier. Without booting up a game engine, yeah, good boy. Nice. Not a lot of code as well, it's fun. Amazing. Oh no. I did 4 times AA. My computer started dying. But yeah, that was cool. Yeah, I should have put 16 and just watched my computer die. It would have just been like, stumble to a halt. But yeah, no, that's cool. It looks great. You know, it's impressive as well. Good amount of time you did it in. It's cool. Well, I think that's alright. Is that like... Yeah, I think that's different enough. Let's put back color. Alright, so we can see the dark and the lights now. I think we probably need to color some AO as well. I wonder if we can just do... Or is it the other way around? So one shade would mean a lighter color. So AO of 1, so 0 would mean dark, right? Is mouse at, let's get shade. We can see what we're actually doing. So that dark patch, what is that? 0.2, and that more lighter patch. Yeah, cool. I'm not sure if the AO is going to help, but let's put the AO on there as well. Should do, right? Now, let's play around with this thing. So let's do more octaves. What about the performances? See, that's sort of looking okay. Where's the numbers? We need numbers. That scene shade is like not that bad. So doing like, if you remember when we was doing rain marching, doing simplex noise, if we put a simplex noise in a rain march, it was terrible. Because it'll be doing like however many steps, it'll be doing a simplex noise every time. But we're only doing it like kind of once per pixel, or actually 4 times, because we're calculating this normal as well. But yeah, so it's not bad. It's not actually that bad. So yeah, it seems like so I want more of those rougher, like more, you know, I might just manually hard code it in, you know. Because I think I just want to control it rather than having it done over so many octaves and that. I think I'll do it manually. It's not a big deal, so we'll just do a define soil. What's it called? It's a you call it a weight. That's it. So it's a weight 0. That's what I'm looking for. So a 0 point something, right? We can play around with these. Now the total amount of weight will just be the sum of all these. Shaded toy lacks custom vertex computer stages. It uses rain marching and triangle section to virtualize. Nice. Cube. Perfect. Yeah, that's why it's very heavy. Nice. Cool. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really cool shaded toy. So we want to throw in the UV, then we just basically do hey, multiply by weight. Sorry. Yeah, multiply by something, so like a scale. So yeah, this would be multiplied by 1. Right, that's your low frequency. So let's start there, times by soil. Then it's just going to be the accumulation of those things, I think. Yeah. We could also do a multiplier as well if we wanted to as a different way of doing it. So let's just accumulate those. We'll get a total weight. And that'll be our bound. So rather than doing this FBM thing anymore, it's just manually done. Come on. Work with me. So 760. What are you complaining about exactly? .x? This is actually vector 4. Oh, I didn't test the performance properly because I've not got this on, but let's put it on. See what happens quick, ignoring the terrible look. Right, yeah, about 0.87 to like Yeah, that's fine. 1.1 milliseconds, that's fine. Acceptable. Cool, let's put this one back. We'll do the normal one a bit. Right, so got the low frequency one. So if that yes, we are seeing dark patches and light patches. Cool. So we do see that. Now I don't know if I like that frequency. I think it just needs to be a little bit higher for that bass sort of. Yeah, there we go. So obviously it's very, very blurry because it's low frequency. So now let's do some higher frequencies now. So let's do we probably want to make them a bit untraditional, I think. Sorry, not uniform. So like we shouldn't do like powers of 2 or something like that. So we do like a 9, then an 11, I think. Let's try that. We need a higher one. Yeah, so you still see the lower frequency in there, I think. But now you can change the weights, right? So you can say bring the higher frequency one down. I don't really want to keep that one as much, give it as much power as the lower frequencies, if you will, maybe. But yeah, you have more control this way. Okay, so this is an option. So that sort of looks like dirt, I guess. I don't know if you see it from back here. That's alright, isn't it? Get a bit close. We could do some more octaves maybe. And I guess you just simply change. So if you made that 0, yes, you don't really see the details. So I think basically as you go further and further back from the camera, the less this stuff really matters. Okay, I've got a clipping plane as well to deal with. But yeah, so I think you would basically like just do a fixed number of octaves, maybe based on like the pixel size or something like that, you would but yeah, we said yeah, see we changed that last one to 0 and you didn't even see a difference. So that would then mean, you know, it's just a waste of performance basically doing that. And it could add some aliasing as well, I think. So we want to just be careful. But yeah, so now it just looks a bit blurry. Well, that's because we need a higher frequency one. So you get that, see? Cool, so let's add another 4 in there. So the question is now, do you want... Yeah, we want to do maybe 24, 3, 13. We could add more details as well, I think. But let's just stick with that. So we bump that up. Interesting, yeah, so you can recontrol those weights there. Yeah, so the more you have those... Yeah, I wonder if you want to sort of make it go gradually. I think that's all right. Right, let's just leave that there. So we've got two things to sort out. The normal, right, the normal's going to help add some detail. And there are some other things the AI was suggesting doing, which was like mixing some moisture in there, apparently. Don't know what that... and some extra grain and stuff. So the grain could just come from a cheaper noise, actually, thinking about it now. But yeah, stuff to play around with. So let's try and get this normal to work. You know, the AI suggested doing that sort of like taking the differences between the heights, but it's really making stuff go like underneath, and it's not good. Like, I guess it's all of that dirt, right? Although it's pointing downwards, right? That's why we got this debug thing. Like, it's pointing away. Not good. You could like... So you've got it in material space, and you're sort of like... I know what you're doing. You could have this as some kind of offset along... So if you had a vector of the surface, right, you could be like, well, I'll move it slightly to the right, renormalize it, slightly to the left, renormalize it, maybe. What could that do? Um, maybe the push is just too hard. Oh, it's height after all, isn't it, rather than shade? Yeah, height is kind of this merged thing. So maybe... yeah, but it's doing a difference, right? Height is doing a diff divided by the epsilon. Right, it'd be interesting to see what value that is, that's for sure. Right, these are real bad. They're like 26, you know, minus 25 and all that. So what is the height value that you would get? Okay, so you're doing like the two height differences. Let's take this let's see what this is before we. That's pretty reasonable already. So I think if we just get rid of that, divide it. Right, that's sort of better. You see, you're getting like a just bit of a wiggle there, but is it really giving us what we want? Right, it kind of is. Kind of is, right? Although, at the bottom especially, kind of looks alright. Although here, like, what is this? Like, why? Like, is it because we don't only see it on... Like, why is this all of a sudden not very nice? Is that a different reason other than the normal? That looks pretty cool. Um... Yeah, I feel like that might be because... Yes, I think maybe it's rougher on one side than the other for some reason. Let's get in there. Right, let's go on the other end. It might just be because it's already dark anyway. So this is directly towards the sun. So one thing we can do is change the sun direction. So we have got one of these guys somewhere. Manual sun mode is on. All right, let's move it. Yeah, let's go. Okay, so we look towards the light now. Yeah, I feel like it's just because it's by the light. I think. I don't know. Let's change it where it's very bright in the top. Well, it's looking a bit green there. It's not very nice, is it? Ugly green soil. But yeah, so where the light is directly shining is not okay. So I think this is where we just play with this value now. Like how much of this... Yeah, I feel like you can just get like... Oh, I made it crash somehow. But yeah, it's looking good. So I'm liking this way of doing it. Seems like it can work okay. It's just... Yeah, now my colors have been gone a bit weird. We have to make a way to... Like this is probably looking more orangey because of the sun. So I wonder if we can make a mode called like... You know, because we want to be able to find what is the best colors. And maybe we should just like apply ambient lighting somehow, or have like a special light that just gets applied everywhere. And then we can select the colors we want and then go into the scene, I think. Because this is the sunshine and it's orange, so it makes it look more orange, therefore it made it look like the brown we wanted. But yeah, it wasn't actually the brown that we wanted. So let's see if the AI's got some ideas. So what is the best way to select colors of a material in an engine when lights like the sun can be affecting the shading, the final color result? final color, then, you know, one paragraph, please. Because it's going to like give me an essay, and I'm like, no. The best approach is to find your material using. No, it isn't. Don't lie. Yeah, Rec 79. We don't use Rec 79. We actually use P3, right? Because it was in HDR. Process them through physically based pipeline. Instead of picking the final color, you define the albedo. Yeah, I get that. Which represents how the surface looks. Yeah. The engine calculates the sun's intensity, color temperature, blah, blah, blah. To ensure consistency across different lighting conditions for a neutral studio environment. And use the tone mapper like ACS to handle. Right, what so this is this neutral scene thing. Yeah, how could I a neutral or a studio environment? And it's gonna give me an essay, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway. Removes external variables like the sun, shifting, temperature. I guess I could use a white light. Is that the basic idea? Just one white light going down. This allows you to verify your. So 3-point setup to reveal form detail. So keyed light, primary source, 45-degree angle to define shadows. Fill light, a lower intensity, opposite side, soften shadows without flattening image. So 45-degree angle down, and then another one the other side. So bloop, bloop. And then a rim backlight placed behind the object, separate it from the background. Set your light switch mimics pure noon day without yellow or blue bias of different times of day. Use an infinity wall. Right. Yeah, we actually don't use the ACS. We did yeah, there's a past stream for it as well on the YouTube channel. But we implemented GT7 tone mapper because it's got a the best thing about it is it's got HDR mode and an SDR mode. So using the same tone mapper for both HDR and SDR. And it solves a few problems like the this color bending or bleeding, whatever they call it. This hue twist, that's the one. Yeah, so here's the old one, here's the new one, right? You don't see the hue twist when it's a bit too bright. Because I think it tone maps each channel individually. Cool. It's not that bad to implement either, because they give you the code, right? It's MIT licensed. And it has an inverse function as well, so you can inverse tone map. Right, so should we get one of these quickly plugged in? Because I'm failing to pick colors for the life of me right now. I don't... Equally, we could just put the sun up in the sky. And that might just solve the problem. Because this seems like effort, right? We want to put, you know, we don't mind putting in effort, it's just we don't want to put in... We want to reserve where our effort goes. So 2, right, about 2, 5, 0.25. So let's find the settings file. ENC that one. Let's change the default value. So 2.5. Don't do this to me, please. All right, we're done. Cool. Yeah, I guess now we can sort the greens and that. So what we found out is that directly down, it just looks like that, and that's okay. That's okay. We're going to add some more things. So let's sort the colors out again. And then we can add some more things to get the detail looking all right. Right, so 0.5 is probably fine. Maybe not. Anyways, so go to brown 1. Now you're looking brown 1. You're looking a bit green. So red, green, and blue. So obviously we need to bring the green down. What's going on? Are we losing precision at this point? Don't have any precision at the moment, is that? What's going on? Alright, so it seems like those are quite low, and they're being... So I think it's the way it's saving out to the render target, so it's using that 16-bit int, so... Yeah, I think these are a bit too... You know, maybe we just need a color, and then you do the AO, rather than trying to pick 2 colors. I think you just need a color. So that'll just be AO then. Passed out, maybe. So... Well, no, you will need 2 different shades of brown. Let's find a shade of brown, so a little bit more red. That'll do, I guess. It's already quite bright, you see. I wonder if... So we times that by 0.1. Looks green. It's too dark. That's because floating point 16 is not storing enough. Yeah, I think... Alright, stuff to think about. So AO. See, I wonder what those normal values are here. They're looking quite dark. Right, let's have a bit of a play with, let's get rid of that shade thing. Call it color now, I guess. Then, so it suggested some ideas around what did it suggest? So having some kind of like moisture thing. So that was like smooth step between N, which is what? That's the noise between these two to simulate darker spots. It's interesting, it talked about decaying it in that version, making it less. And that's what we did actually in the end. Okay, so it's talking about having like a moisture, so you should do the shade thing. Let's see what that's like. What does that do? Did something. I did see some thing go on. So we comment this out, what does it do? Something to it. Speaking of colors, have you ever tried spectral colors rendering before? So I ported this sky, so this sky that we're rendering, this sky map, it uses a spectral rendering, and if you turn it off, it doesn't look as good. But I looked at spectral rendering. I did some research into it. It looks interesting because you're doing it different. You're doing the same material pass at different wavelengths. So like the different color spectrums. Spectrum, is that the word you say? So like you go over the the visible wavelength, and you're sort of doing the material shading at red, at blue, basically, and green, but more of them, and then combining the result. Yeah, it's interesting because apparently it sorts that stuff like gold and stuff. It makes gold look more natural, basically, because gold interacts differently based on the wavelengths that hit the. But yeah, it looks cool. Looks interesting. Um, yeah, it looks interesting, but it's too expensive to do, potentially. Plus, it involves. Yeah, it will be too expensive because I've got to do the material pass at different. Maybe. But yeah, it's interesting to say the least. Might look at it if I can spare some CPU cycles, maybe, but I think it'll be too expensive. Sorry, GPU cycles. Have you played around with it? Yes, that moisture. I guess we can. Why was it made it go lower? Does it do stuff? Can it make it go higher? But then you basically just like beep 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 boo. That's interesting. You get more dark spots now. Could be quite nice. But then that's basically just remapping it the other way around. You're making the dark spots come out more. That's a nice hack. Would you call it a hack? That's good. I like that. So, moistness. We can have a moistness parameter. How much moistness do you want? Amazing. Right, so there could be... Oh, this is beautiful. So here's the parameter moistness. 1 moistness, please. One take moistness. Maximum moistness. So with 0 moistness, you'll basically just get... Would that be black? No? Oh yeah, good, good, good. Yeah, 1. Nice. Amazing. No, I was reading this, wanted to ask. Cool. Nice. Yeah, it's good. It's good to learn. You know, I'm sure they use it in like all the film stuff. You know, they use it in. But for real-time rendering, it's not used particularly too much. Cool. Nice. Not a bad write-up of it, I guess. It seems quite... It's a bit long though, but it's cool. Oh, they got a little play. Wow. And spectrum rendering. Oh, okay, it's a spectrum. You're seeing the spectrum of the... Alright, so as you zoom in, and you see the spectrum as well. No, it doesn't seem right. But yeah, it's cool though, isn't it? Looks nice, like these balloons. Really makes it different. Really makes it different. Yeah, I find it adds more depth to the color, if you will. Like when I did this sky, if you turned it off, man, it looked flat. It looked more flat, you know. More good. Right, so I like this moistness thing. It's a good idea. What else can we do? You know, they say, well, they called it a thing. It said, the machine. It was talking about there's this sort of grain thing, high frequency sand grains. Like, you know, why are we doing simplex noise when subtle graininess? Yeah, why? Yeah, so maybe some of this horrible normal stuff comes from the fact that we're doing this last one, right? So if you think about it, could we perhaps say do some terrible sort of like grainy version? So I think we can use PCG hash or just that hash, those other hash ones that we've got, and just simply apply that on top. And that might be fine. So that would be... But it might look repetitive though. That's my problem with it. They multiplied it by a big number. So if we were just to see that for a minute, let's say shade equal hash 3D, is that what we called it? Yeah, so it's UV. So here it is, kind of like a low frequency. Oh, it's kind of high actually. If we multiply it by like 50 as they were doing it. Interesting. So we're seeing like a grain now. But then obviously as you move the camera, it's like aliasing like real bad, as you would expect, right? So it's interesting, to say the least. Let's see what we do, 500. But if we just did like UV, you see, what do you see? You see this weird aliasing here. Yeah, you're seeing where it, yeah, so but then I guess you don't really want to get that sand looking. Yeah, I don't know. Not really liking it that much. So it's saying basically blend it in. Okay, it's saying subtle. So it's saying minus equal. That's going on the shade. That ends up being on the AO only. Not necessarily the. So I could really put that in afterwards. But let's try it there for a minute. Yeah. Right, so on the color, it's talking about the color, just applying it. Hmm. There's a frac, so it's between 0 and 1 anyway. So the color's so dark that it kind of just puts it into like minus territory, I think. It's not really good, but we can multiply. Kind of add some graininess to it, but I don't know if you want a grainy image, you know? I'm not sure if I'm liking it, to be honest. But that other parameter, that moistness one, that was good. That made it great. No. Feel it. Here we go. Bam. So one parameter, moistness. We'll probably add a color as well. Like what's your, you know, what's the color you want to use? So the other one is, yeah, I wonder if we want to use a proper full-on float 32 target, because squishing it down to like 30 to 16 bits, like especially when you have these dark colors, you can't really keep the shade that you want. So maybe. So any other ideas? Can we get some like, yeah, but these are not really that dark, really light dirt and dark dirt. Maybe my sun is just so bright that it's just causing it to be, that might be part of the problem. So we go to the sky. Sorry, graphics shader. Let's make it 50 radiance. Okay, so maybe this is more manageable now. So we use some. So dark, light. dark light shade. Cool. So I want to quickly see what the light looks like. So if we were to make it, let's make it 1.6, just make it twice as bright. Maybe. So it'd be a 5. Looking a little bit red, that, isn't it, really? So you could actually bring the other two up. Another way of doing it. So there's your light browns. Now we just run that like that. Yeah, so as it looks wet, that's what it looks like. But if you don't want it to be that moist, change the moistness parameter between 0 and 1. And you get sort of a drier looking one. So if you just plug that into sine G time, I might as well have this as a macro somewhere. Yeah, let's do it. What should we call this? Graphics VK shader. We'll call it like time unorm. Times norm. Right, here we go. So we've got an animating moisture now coming in, going out. So another fun thing is you could actually, like, if you wanted to, or if it starts raining, you could literally just say, right, this ground now just has more moistness, right? And then it changes the effect of that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so one more thing about those normals, right? They're handy, but they're causing stuff to, like, oddly look a weird color, like on the... Alright, so when it's dark, you can really see when the light directly shines on it. Yeah, maybe we need to get like a proper test scene up where we can debug the lighting code and make sure it's behaving the way we want it. There could be something painfully wrong, basically. But I think this is a good material. I like it. So this is just doing it with noise and stuff. So I think we want to... Yeah, I think this is... We can just keep this one now. So what other ones should we do? Should we do like a stone or something? We saw that wood one that we thought about, actually. We basically just did... What did we do? That we did... we did this soil one, but we sort of like stretched it and it looks kind of nice. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Yeah, the light is shining on that side, so you get, but here it's really not. It's okay. Cool, I'm happy with that. Right, I'm just gonna get a quick drink and then we'll come back and we'll set up one for a wood maybe. Right, so we'll take all these parameters and see if we can throw together a wood material. Might be cool. Right, BLB. Alright, I think I've got some ideas. So the wood one is probably not the wisest thing to do. Not the most sensible because we want to make stuff for the ground, right? And like part of my objective as well with this is like we want to be able to blend multiple materials together. This is something we want to figure out. So I think if we do like a stone, or we could do sand, right? But I wonder if sand is just like a different like color of soil or whatever, right? Like at the end of the day, sand would just be a soil that is basically, well, do. Hang on a minute. Right? Maybe we should just try and make this one, because you're basically a sand would probably just be a different color soil, and you probably wanted to try and get some sort of clumps on it as well, like clumpiness. That'd be yeah, clumpiness. We gotta have that parameter. I feel like when you do rendering, it should be driven by the amount of the properties you can end with the word ness and how good they sound. So we've got moistness, and clumpiness. Excellent. We need more parameters, but this is good. So we should probably have another one called clumpiness. Now, how would we get some clumps? Let's see if the AI has some suggestions. How about adding clumps of soil to that shader? How has it got any ideas? Yeah, you could do the cellular noise. So that's like the Voronoi noise, is that right? Or is this? Is it like the Voronoi noise thing? Is an extension of the Voronoi noise that outputs a real value, right? So what's Voronoi noise? Was it a fake value? Okay, real value at the given coordinate that corresponds to the distance to the nearest seed. Right, maybe they're the same thing. So it's like a Voronoi noise thing. Right, clumps. So generate clumps. What are you doing with the clumps then? It's a fine detail. There's a clump color. And you're mixing that in with color. Ambient includes an approximation. Darken the areas between the clumps. Alright. Some ideas. So let's take this Voronoi noise thing. Haven't I already got Voronoi though? No. But actually look like 3D geometry. This is what we want. Bam. You can also add small stones, higher frequency. That'd be cool. Yeah, so let's try this out. So it's a simplex right here. The Wally noise. Why can't I underscore the moment? What's going on? What's going on with my computer? I can't even press the underscore button on my computer anymore. This is dumb. Like stopping me program. This is where camel case is the only solution. What is going on? My shift keys are completely broken. Keyboard. So Windows keyboard shift key causing no input to happen. Filter keys. Hold the right shift 8 seconds. What the crap is going on? Keep a short but filter keys. Sticky keys, ain't it? I don't know what's happening with my PC. Can I try a on-screen keyboard? See, I'm not lying. Shift something doesn't do anything. Crazy. Run notepad. Ah, it's terrible. Man. What's going on? Oh. It's terrible. Wait, can I do caps lock? Yeah, but then I still can't get my thing. Uh. So he was going to restart, but he tried and worked. Opening on-screen keyboard. With a press shift. But then I tried holding the shift key. I clicked random letter on the keyboard and fine. Oh, Fancy Zones by Power Toys. What's Fancy Zones? Got this thing. It works. No way. How did someone find that out? What is Fancy Zones anyway? I don't really care. Let's program. Right, let's get some clumps. But yeah, it's quite cool having Power Toys because you can do the always on top window. It's great. Man, I would have had to end stream there. Thankfully not. Right, so whirly noise. Let's go to the soil. Could be amazing. So we should be able to make, just by having different parameters, so we could do color as well. We'll be able to have like all these different shades of soil, right? Cool. Anyways, let's get in there. So we want to get the clumpiness. So we want like a clumpiness parameter. So what is it? So we put the clumps here. Oh. it suggests just having the UV basically. We can always play about with that. So smooth step between sharpen the clump edges. Right, so it suggests doing something like this. Right, smooth step 0.4, 0.8. Now I'm just going to merge mine with the height, see what happens. It was talking about if you did it with the normals that it could make it look better. But it wasn't actually changing that side of things. So this is the value noise. Oh. What happened? Oh, the FVM thing is not declared anymore. Cool. Right, so I think we see some of it already. We see these clumps, but I added it. So it's kind of come up with right, so Wally. Do we take it away? Does it go the other way? So we times that. Interesting. But yeah, it's just brought in these more sort of like dark patches, really. I guess that's because of the moistness, isn't it? Right, so let's see what's going on here. See how it actually affects it. So so changing the height might not be the best idea. It might be best to change. Right. How would see about that, but yeah, so it suggests just doing it as a separate color blend. Like if we just made the height the Voronoi noise thing, then that would look like that. Yes, I think maybe that smooth step is not really what we want. Maybe actually. Hang on. I need to see something for a minute. Yeah, this is a value between 0 and 1. Distance to the edge type thing, I think. Yeah, so I see. So it would be the smooth step things were a right thing to do. Cool, make it more defined. So if you bring it up more to maybe a, I don't know, 24 or something. Cool. So that makes it look maybe more of like a wetness though, doesn't it? Interesting. But yeah, then if you sort of like take that away from there. That's interesting. You know? It's quite interesting. You know, I wonder if you just want to like. So this isn't really Is this clumpiness at this point? I think it kind of is, right? Just add clumps. So the clumps should probably be different colors, maybe. It's kind of cool. So, given. Right, so how's it suggesting doing the normal? Because right now we just changed the height. So, clumps plus, it recommends adding. We did try that first, didn't we? So times 0.5 for some kind of scale. Oh, it recommended a one take. Hmm. Then if you... kind of I pressed the wrong key again. That's just like doing a minus though. No, it's not. Okay, interesting. So it's looking kind of clumpy there. Now, you know, it recommended times by 1.5. That didn't really work out though. But then, so that's the fine detail. Already got that. It also recommends having like a blend factor in there, kind of. So really, we should probably. Like a weight, basically. Yeah. So that is another one of these weights, though. Would that be like a clumpiness factor, basically? Like, plus clumpiness, right? So clumpiness needs to be passed in. And then here it is, your clumpiness. So it will go here and here. Okay, so if we change clumpiness to be 0.5, okay, so that's because we didn't times it. So we have no clumpiness. That would be that, then one clumpiness gets you that. Now, with the clumps, you might want them a bit. Right, it's kind of cool, isn't it? So if we let's try again. Clumpiness, no clumpiness, full clumpiness. Right, half clumpiness. Cool, I like it. Now, scale-wise, is that really nice? Should we do 12 instead? Should we have like these like big, like how big do you want the clumps to be? Right, but you notice they're big there, but you don't really see them. Well, you do. Kind of see them. So then it's like, do you want 2 times clumpiness at that point? More clumpy. So yeah, I think you do want to times that by 2. So you can have like more clumpiness. Now this kind of, you probably want another parameter called like clumpy clumpy scale, if you will. Like what's the, because 8 can work, but you might want to have like higher frequency clumps. Make it like that. Then you go super high frequency. Bit much there. Let's see the aliasing going around the edges. It's not good. Yeah, so it's interesting. You could probably have a clumpiness, like clump scale. Well, clumpiness would mean like how visible. Yeah, it depends. What do you want to do? We've got a problem now. We're going to have 2 clumpinesses. Yeah, so I think as you change the scale, that clumpiness needs to be sort of brought down as well. Yeah, so, or needs to be remapped. Yeah, so you can barely make those ones out, but it really needs to be like a 4 or something like that for something so such low frequency, so you actually see them. Interesting. You could probably do some things with this. Like even like stones and stuff, maybe. Yeah, maybe you can just call it Earth or something like that, I don't know, but anyways, so you probably want like a clumpiness. How clumpy is something? So that would then got some little clumps. Or you could make it all one parameter, right? The more... that would be a bad idea. Hmm. So clumpiness could mean that it's clumping more together, so you get bigger clumps. Right? Where you get little clumps. And then you want like a clump weight, maybe? Like how... Yes, I think it's the other way around then. Like a clump weight. Now, given... Let's get this in. Now I'm thinking... So clumpiness should always be 0 to 1. But... So there'd be like a clump weight thing. Tied into here. Now... So if your clumpiness weight... So lerp between... What was that small number? We just did 5 on it. So let's do 4. All the way up to like 24. And that's just what clumpiness goes between. So then as you have more clumpiness, your clumpiness weight, I guess, can stay. Yes, as your clumpiness comes down, your weight needs to go up, because if you have 0 clumpiness, but you have a clumpiness weight, you kind of want more weight. So you want to say plus clumpiness, 1 take clumpiness. Come on. Wait, you... The 0 clumpiness, 1 take, so be 1. Weight is 1. Does that even change anything? Yeah, it has. It has. Good, good, good. So if we did this times 4, perfect. Or maybe it's not perfect, but yeah, so you sort of get that sort of look like that. So as you increase your clumpiness, it will bring less of that. There you go. Lovely. See, if you had 0.5 clumpiness, and then... Oh, it's maybe not looking that great. But yeah, maybe we're a bit too aggressive. 2 times 3. Right, I think it should be a we should power it, I think. Pow or square root. I forget which way around you do it. So you want it to be clumped around the. No, square root's gonna make it greater, isn't it? Hang on a minute. Right. Okay, really bug it up. Right, nearly there. Cool, so we put the square root back. Yeah, so I want to square it. It's that way around. Make it a little bit non-linear. Maybe another square will do it. Yeah, they look pretty awesome now. So you can kind of reuse this for like a rock as well, right? That's what's making it. It seems like it can be used for like all sorts of stuff, like sand and things. Yeah, it's quite cool, and it's not too expensive, I don't think. Yeah, so I think that's working as we want, right? Are we getting? I think I need to double square it. So I just want it to be really weighted towards the bottom end of the. Yeah, so actually, ignore that. Okay, can I like do my time unorm thing? So it does a 0 to 1 value. Yeah, I think that's looking alright. What's the 0.1 look like? Okay, what about 0? I think so. No clumpiness, but we have a lot of clump weight. Cool. You probably just typically make that just not be as prevalent, if you will. It's gonna have a base thing that does to it. Needs to be a multiplier then. Cool, so we time unorm that. Phases in and out, there you go, look at that. So we did a 0.5. Then more clumpiness. Hang on a minute, we got this wrong way around, have we? If it's the clumpier it is, means the bigger the clumps are, right? So there's that. This is always going to be 0 now, though. Kind of loud. Maths. Maths. Just snubbed out the. So your clumpiness. Yes, this should be 1 take clumpiness. So 0 clumpiness. Okay, so so as your clumpiness goes towards 1, you want to times it by the weight by 4. Times the weight by 0. I think you want to do a 1 plus. I think that's what we're looking for. So times by 3 then. So as you go, you put clumpiness 1. Yeah, there you go, cool. Phew. Lovely. So super clumpy, not so clumpy, clumps. Yeah, we can always change those variable names. That's pretty cool. So we could probably make sand with this. We could probably make other things. You know, I think we can do like basically this now, or these sorts of things with that, which is nice. Then what else we're looking for? Yeah, just wanted to double check, see if there's anything missing from this chat that I'm finding interesting. So yeah, it talks about having a different clump color. I wonder. Right. Like, but when you've already done the height based on the clump, like say we dropped that in there. Then like, what was it saying before? Pick like a mix. What color do they look like? I don't know why you have to color the clumps differently, but you could do. Just make them lighter. So let's just say clump. Let's just do this, right? Let's see what happens. So color equal lerp color clump color based on how the clump height or whatever, right? So am I interested in that? I don't know. Um, it looks better actually. You do the clump color. It like brings it to a bit more life, adds detail. Or at least on the darker sides. I'm thinking, yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it. Right, so I think we've nailed this now. It's like quite configurable. I think what we should do next time is make a few different like soil things, right? Make a sand, make kind of a rocky thing, make like, you know, some soil that's not really that clumpy. And clean the code up a little bit, right? Because it's a little bit messy. Make some parameters, right? Make different materials, all using the same procedure material though. And then that'll be cool because with that, we could then take these different materials and they could be like blended together and stuff, right? In some kind of terrain painting thing, which would be cool. And that's something else I've got to add is like, how are we going to do blending materials? Because some of them were going to be like ray marched into boxes. Do we want to have, how are we going to classify different materials? So some of them are like changing the geometry, other ones are not, right? That sort of thing. So I think we're getting in quite good places now. Maybe we should try and do some like stony gravel one as well, you know? Just have a few different materials basically that we can at least play with. And maybe a wood one as well for like, anyways. But yeah, so Sunday is the next stream. We're gonna do some more material work. If you want to come and chat in the meantime, Discord channel. If you enjoy the stream and want to support the channel, feel free to support via the Ko-Fi and get access to the code to run your own local machine. The details are all on that link if you follow it there. But yeah, appreciate everyone coming by. I hope you have a good start to your weekend, and I'll see you all on Sunday, hopefully. Right. God bless you all, guys. Good night, and bye bye.